Hey guys, Max from Burrito here. Today on Breakfast Burrito, I'm going to talk about my 3 sports anime that I recommend for people who either watch sports or anime. And the first one I want to talk about is an anime called Shield 21. And the reason I want to talk about it is because, football season's right around the corner, and I feel like this would be a great first anime to talk about. The anime pretty much starts off with this character Senna, who's scared all the time, gets bullied by the kids in his high school, and is always running away from his problems. And the first episode really goes into depth about how he's scared all the time. He's like kind of tired of being bullied, ironically as he's running away from bullies. And as he's running away from bullies, the captain of his high school football team, Hirma, who is just unbelievable as a character in general, sees Senna running through a crowd of people, dodging people but not slowing down. And Hirama's like, I could use this guy. Like, let's get this man on the team. And so Hirama then goes out hunting down Senna and drags him to join the football team with him and his one other friend Kurita, who is the offensive lineman. And it's just a team of two at this point, and Senna is like, I don't want to play football. I'm scared. I don't want to get hit. And if anybody ever watched anime, you know the stereotype. He doesn't get a choice. He's playing football whether he likes it or not. And so Senna becomes the running back of the Daemon Devil Bats high school football team, known as Shield 21. And the reason he's called Shield 21 in the anime is because Hirama wants to keep his identity a secret because Senna is scared all the time. He doesn't want people to know who he is. And you follow pretty much Senna's journey to becoming a elite running back in his in the city, in the Kanto region, and it's really fun just watching him grow as a character, learning different like moves as a running back, and they really make it cool though because it's not just you're watching a run game the entire time. Hirama is a very smart quarterback as you watch through the anime, and he says like, okay, we're not just gonna run the ball through the freaking defensive line. That seems like an awful idea. Let's use our pass game, and as the anime continues, you keep upping into these different characters who are on the opposite teams. Like there's this other character Shin, who right here he really I really like this character because he's the type that works hard all the time, and he only has one goal: to be the best linebacker in all of high school sports. And my God, he is something. Like there's no stopping this man, and he he wrecks everybody. He's so freaking strong. It's unreal. Like guys, when I say like this man can stop any like run game or pass game, I'm not exaggerating. Like he should be playing safety in all honesty, or maybe playing center back position also, because this dude is a diversified player. And one thing I really do like about this anime is that they give little tidbits, to especially the weeboo fan base that obviously exists that doesn't know anything about football. Like they'll ask them, "What does the quarterback do?" or "What does a running back do?" And here I am as a sports fan watching it and being like, "Oh, come on, who wouldn't know this?" But for you anime fans out there who might not like football, like this is or not even not like just don't know the rules of it. This might be a great way for you guys to sneak in, and learn the rules of football so you can impress all your jock friends. Um, Another thing I do like about this anime though is actually the character progression of not just the main character but watching other characters grow along the way. Like there's this other character Gen who is the kicker of the football team but left because his father got hurt. And watching him struggle like to decide between the love of the sport that he loves and the fact that his dad is sick, injured and can't work, so he has to work for his dad. And you just kind of watch him just like sitting there like moping all the time, being depressed about the fact he can't help his teammates. And eventually, like, I'm not going to spoil anything about how his character arc goes, but he does eventually grow as a character and eventually come back to the team. If you can't figure if any characters introduced here, they should eventually rejoin the team. Like, let's be honest. Um, One other character I do like to go over though is a character that comes up later in the series, so a little bit of a spoiler warning here. I'm going to talk about it in 3, 2, 1. All right? So the next character I'd like to talk about is Congo, who is a supernaturally talented, gifted player. He's one of those players, like, if you actually watch football, he'd be like the Patrick Mahomes out there, the Christian McCaffrey type player, Saquon Barkley. Like, just, he was bred for this sport, and that is what he is good at. The only difference between him and all the other pros out there is that Congo doesn't care about practicing. Like, and you watch him as just being like this super cocky, like, I am invincible. I don't need to practice. Practice? Who needs that? And it's satisfying to watch Congo eventually lose to Senna, who is a character that only has one redeeming trait, and that's his running ability, being able to beat this super talent. Because Senna, unlike Congo, practices. And I cannot stress how important that practice was for Senna to win. Now, I will once again talk about how iShow21 is an unbelievable anime. It is, but it's not for everybody because they do go a little unrealistic because they have some secret techniques. Like Senna learns something called the Phantom Ghost, which is it doesn't work. It's like an ability which lets him look like he duplicates himself and run past people, runs through people. It's gonna be anime, and you're gonna expect to see some things like that. And you gotta release some of your suspension of disbelief in order to kind of enjoy this anime at some points, because some of the times it's just the plays they do or the ways they think of doing things is just so out of nowhere or so ridiculous that it would never be feasible in actual sports. Now, moving on to my second choice on this list would be an anime that I have some real personal connections with. It's the tennis anime Baby Steps. Mauro ends up getting a free tennis lesson at an indoor tennis facility. And Mauro's like, I guess I could play this to keep in shape. Why not just, how most people would probably be at first. I'm going to play tennis to stay in shape, and it could be fun, or it could be boring, but at least it's something that makes me move. And when Mauro first gets on the court, he's bad. I'll be honest, as somebody who plays tennis, very bad. There's no natural gift here. No, just no. But he does have one thing that a lot of other players don't, and I've seen this actually when I play tennis. It's that he has a drive that makes him want to improve. He has an obsessive behavior that makes him want to get better. And you see that obsession within the first episode, where he's just like, oh no, I'll play for a couple more hours. It becomes at the point where he kind of becomes an addict. And around the second episode, he meets his character Takuma, who has been playing tennis pretty much his whole life. He's unbelievable talent, has one of the biggest serves in Japan for the youth group. And he actually he relates to a couple people I do know that I play tennis with too. I have a friend who I'm not going to name any names, but if you're watching this, you know who you are. He's a super tall dude. I've been playing tennis with him for a few years, and just like Takuma has a ridiculously big serve. And Takuma has struggled, just like my friend did actually, with the fact that he lost to somebody who's way more talented than him. Because the problem with Takuma is that he was told since he was a kid that he's a prodigy. He's going to be the next pro Japanese player. And all those expectations came crumbling down when this other guy, Ike Soji, came onto the junior tour, and just destroyed Takuma. And Takuma lost his confidence at that point. And just like my friend, he did lose his confidence also. Ended up only just really hitting serves all day. And what became really cool about his character in the end, and same with my friends, they became two of the biggest servers I've ever seen. Takuma became one of the best servers in the anime in terms of just power, speed, and control. And my friend, his serve is his biggest part of his game now. He dominates on the court. And just having those cool correlations between my real life and this anime really just helped me really get invested in it. But even if you don't have a friend who's played tennis, it's really cool because it's grounded in the terms of reality. But kind of I can vouch for it, makes you experience what a tennis player experiences on the court. You actually get to look in the mind of a player when he's playing. What strategy am I supposed to use? How am I supposed to win? And to continue on with my point about the story, you're pretty much going to follow Mauro's journey from wanting to originally having baby steps in his goals. Just like the title says, he has small goals that eventually lead to a giant success. And his first baby step is he wants to just get better on his forehand. Next baby step, getting better on his backhand. Then his serve, and then slowly and slowly he progressed into this really good player. Then has aspirations of wanting to go pro at the age of 18. And it's just really cool to see like him slowly improve like every shot, and not just have like one training montage where all of a sudden, okay, after a week, congratulations, you now mastered the secret technique that my father and his father knew and I passed down to you. No, it takes him a while to actually get good, which I feel like a lot of sports people will appreciate, because when you watch some other anime like Dragon Ball, Goku gets stronger overnight, and you're just like, oh, cool. That's realistic. I wish I could do that, but I can't. And that's why Baby Steps is one of my favorite anime, though, overall, just because it's grounded in reality. I love tennis personally, and I think it's just it's a fun time. Like, I definitely recommend you guys, anybody who's interested in the sport of tennis, definitely give it a check out. Like, definitely worth it. I will say, like, the one cool thing I do like about this anime is that the title Baby Steps encompasses what the show is all about. It's about taking baby steps to accomplish your goals. Instead of having just like trying to take one giant leap and accomplish your goal, why not you have to accomplish smaller goals that eventually lead to that giant goal, which is what tennis is essentially all about. You have to take small strides to achieve a large stride, essentially. And what that pretty much means is that you have to work just on your forehand. Maybe working on your forehand alone won't make you one of the best players, but it's going to be a piece to the puzzle. And then you work on your backhand next, and next thing you know, your backhand's a little better. Then your footwork, and next thing you know, you've accomplished all these small things and have improved as a player, which are a bunch of baby steps eventually leading to one giant stride, which is the theme of the show. And I just think that's really cool, and I personally just love it. And now the last anime I'm going to talk about on this list is the one that's nearest and dearest to my heart. I talked about it on our first episode of Baka Burrito Banter, and that is the anime Majors. And I didn't really get a lot of time to talk about this anime. Well, Devin said I did, but I don't feel like I didn't get enough time to talk about it. So I'm going to talk about Majors more right now. So, for those who didn't watch the first video, Majors is about this one character, Goro Shigano, who starts out as he just starts out as a kid loving baseball. He really does. And these are major, mind you, but before I start talking about this into depth, major spoiler warning. Major, because, no pun intended, but like after the first two episodes, it really are important to establish a character. And if you're going to actually get into this, I recommend just watching it right now and then listening to me talk about this afterwards. But Goro starts out as this kid that he's loving baseball. His dad plays baseball as a pro pitcher for the Marlin Blue Oceans. And you watch Goro watch his father, like, growing up, be idolizing him as a pitcher. But unfortunately, Goro's dad suffers a elbow injury, and he really can't pitch anymore. Goro doesn't want his dad to give up baseball. His dad doesn't want to give up baseball, and Goro struggles with that. But what his dad does is, he doesn't tell his son at first, but he practices becoming a hitter instead, and a really good hitter, mind you. And Goro thinks his dad's quit baseball. He's all sad, and then Goro goes to a baseball game, and he doesn't know why he's here. He's just sad. He's not gonna see his dad play, and out of nowhere, his dad comes out as a batter, and ends up hitting a home run at his first at bat. And Goro watched his dad with such a happy kid, seeing his dad hit a home run. It really reminded me of just watching either a friend or even watching my dad when he played softball play baseball. It's not the same thing, but it really it tugs at the heartstrings. And Goro's super happy to see his dad playing baseball again, but tragedy eventually does strike when Goro's father goes up against this American pitcher who pitches 100 miles per hour. At his first at bat, Goro's dad hits a home run, huge for the team. But on the second at bat, Goro's dad gets hit in the head with a pitch, and unfortunately later in the episode does die as a result of that pitch. And so now Goro has to struggle with the sport he loves also taking away his father. And it's heartbreaking, especially. And the character who hit his dad in the head, Gibson, is struggles also throughout the series. Like, you think he'd just be some villainous character, but no, he is one of the most human characters I have seen in the show. A man who loves baseball but killed somebody in the sport he loves. And he really struggles with that throughout the series. And you watch as Goro grows up, still playing baseball, and he sets a goal for himself. He wants to play Gibson as an adult. He wants to become good enough where he could pitch against Gibson and beat Gibson. And it's an unbelievable journey, though, because the anime isn't necessarily about sports. I know I'm talking about sports anime, but the sports is something that just carries the plot for this show. What I really like about it is that it's really about the characters and it's about growth. Because Goro doesn't join any elite high school program, or like most of his teams he joins don't end up doing much, in all honesty. Like, they make the semifinals of tournaments or finals of tournaments. They never go on farther than the Kanto tournament. But it's really about the people that he meets along the way and grows with. Because he teaches everybody that he plays with that what it means to love a sport, to put your passion into something. And as anybody who loves sports will definitely understand that sports, winning a championship is great and all, but the most important thing you can get out of sports is just the growth and development that you have as a person playing it. Because sports, in my opinion, teaches you a lot about just like perseverance, hard work, dedication to a team, self-sacrifice, and all of these traits are embodied in the anime majors. And it's something that I just love. I just love how they embody like the spirit of athletics so much into this one anime. And to move on to the other part about anime that I love about this anime is the other character, Goro's rival, Saito. He's somebody who grew up with Goro, actually, and became a catcher, actually, which is, it's pretty cool, though, because like, the ultimate rival is the guy who is the opposite of a battery in pitching as a pitcher. You're going up against the guy who's usually thinking of the strategy, and it's really cool to watch them both just grow as characters. You watch Saito struggle with the fact that Goro might end up going to the same school, which might ruin Saito's chances of going to that elite high school known as Kaijo, which ruins Saito's chances of going pro if he doesn't go to Kaijo. But the Kaijo's only going to take either Goro or Saito, which is the major issue there. And you watch Saito really struggle with being angry at Goro at first, and then eventually deciding that they're going to work together and play at Kaijo. And then watching Saito struggle with the fact that Goro ends up leaving Kaijo after 2 years to go play Kaijo. And Saito's frustration, the fact that he wants to play with his best friend, but can't. And all this stuff is cool about the high school, but the major part that, once again, no pun intended, that's really cool about this anime, it doesn't just stop at high school, mind you. It goes on into the Pro Tour, which is something very unique to a lot of sports anime, in the fact that like, we don't see usually anime go on into the pros. And so we get to watch Goro have new kinds of struggles, because like in high school he's a special talent, but in the majors he learns pretty fast that he's good, don't get me wrong, but like there are a lot of players that are better than him and will take his spot. And it's really cool to watch him go through the AAA league, really struggle at first, like trying to find his way around how he's not going to just only pitch fastballs anymore, or what he can do to get better as a pitcher. And you watch him grow and grow as a pro, which is really cool, like learning how to train himself better, learning that there's not just, being a pro is not just about playing sports, but also interacting with the fan base. And any pro could probably understand the fact that, yes, you're an athlete first, but you're also a representative of a sports brand. You also represent thousands of people. You're also a hero to millions of people. And you have more of a responsibility than just hitting a baseball or throwing a ball. You have a responsibility to be a role model to these people. And Goro has to learn that the hard way throughout the series, which is really cool in my opinion, because you don't get a lot of people who idolize a high schooler, but like when you have like one of the top pitchers on your team in the world, all of a sudden you have millions of fans, and you watch this guy struggling with the fact that he has so much celebrity to him. And I think that's just really cool. Like, that's a unique way of showing a sports anime in general. And the last thing I will say about this anime is, if anybody who still watches sports is still here, like, this is definitely an anime that a sports fan would love. because it's grounded mostly in reality also, and it really holds the essence of what sports really is about. And I couldn't recommend a better anime just to watch sports. Well, guys, I think that's going to be it. I really appreciate you guys listening to this podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the video, and listen to our next video on Friday about our Baka Burrito Normal podcast. Have a good one.